All right, Ivory, we have one game left on our triple header. Sanaya Rivers and NC State taking on Virginia Tech. The Wolfpack coming into this game winners of 11 of their last 12, 7-1 in ACC play. Meanwhile, on the other side, Virginia Tech has been doing it by committee, including Carly Wenzel, 21.5 points per game versus ranked ACC opponents. She's already had 2 games. Can she cook up another great performance against the Wolfpack on the road in Raleigh? Welcome into the ACC Network studios alongside UNC great Ivory Latt. I'm Justin Walters. We're just minutes away from the final game of our triple header. NC State taking on Virginia Tech. Isaiah James warming up. 28-game win streak or 28-game streak with at least 10 points dating back to last season. Her game has continued to evolve and improve. Break it down for me, Ivory. What do you see?
Hey, let me tell you why Miss James her game is on point this season. And this right here, as a player, you got to be able to read all defenses. As her teammate comes off the screen, she realized that the defensive player is coming. Look at Isaiah. She's ready, already down. Ball is in the shooting pocket, and she ready to let it go. Great shot. Hey, loving basketball. Hold that follow through up, girl. This right here is great. She got the switch that she needed with the player. Behind the back, and y'all, check out the what? Hesitation. Uh-oh, come here. Right into the floater with the left. When she go left, you cannot stop her at all. And this is something that she really improved on her game right here. Y'all, between, oh my God, with the step over, the way that she creates space, it is so tough, especially guarding a left-hand player. It is so tough how she can create that space and then watch the follow through. Watch the follow through. Nothing but nay.
Hey, the vocals are crazy today now, but you know it's also crazy? Look at this dance routine. Okay, Madison Hayes, Sanaya Rivers, go ahead, get litty. And one. So you've been speaking about Madison Hayes and the performances she's been having. What have you liked from her lately?
Madison,
I mean, them moves.
She can dance all she wants because she's been dancing this team to victories. That's what she's been doing lately. She has been that piece to NC State getting these dubs, man. And just how she playing, rebounding. I mean, getting those deflections. She is an undersized post player, but she has the heart of anybody, the biggest heart of anybody out there on the court. She's going to guard your post player. She's going to guard the best player on the team. And the good thing is she's knocking down the three-pointers. So she is also giving them opportunities to win. I mean, deflections, diving on the floor. You would love to play with a player like Madison Hayes day in and day out because you know what? She's going to give you everything that she have and more. She don't care about score. She don't care about points. She don't care about nothing. She cares about winning, and she shows it every day.
Yeah, Sanaya Rivers, she is undefeated with the new hairstyle. She told us during our pregame on Thursday with the ladies, new hair don't care. But on the other side, you have to be impressed with what Virginia Tech is doing year one with Megan Duffy.
Yo, they are really buying into what Megan Duffy is doing. She was a great point guard. Great point guards they going into being great coaches. Wenzel is leading this team. She's doing a great job. I mean, they all playing together. It's not, they don't have that one superstar. All of those are superstars over there, and that's how they feel, and they playing together.
And it is certainly showing. From one superstar, we're going to see a few. Jen Hildreth and Kelly Gramlich enjoy the game. We'll see you at halftime.
More women's hoops coming your way tonight on ACC Network from Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh, North Carolina, where the 20th ranked NC State Wolfpack have won 16 in a row on their home floor, though their last 2 home losses have come to the team in town tonight, and that is the Virginia Tech Hokies. With that, we say hello, Jen Hildreth, former Clemson Tiger, Kelly Gramlich, and Kelly. NC State dominated this series early on, but Virginia Tech has come right back over the last few years and been pretty dominant themselves. They've won 4 in a row in this series. So what are you thinking for tonight?
Well, these were some good Virginia Tech teams over the last couple of years that have come in here and won in Reynolds. And Virginia Tech looks very good this year, looking like a tournament team. This would be a big win for them. For NC State, they're winning gritty, not pretty, but they're winning. They've won 11 of their last 12, looking to get a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament.
A couple of veteran players leading the way for both teams. And for NC State, Madison Hayes coming off back-to-back double-doubles.
Jen, I just love when a senior is playing their best ball in their last season of college basketball. Over her last 3 games, those 3 double-doubles, averaging nearly 18 points per game and 10 rebounds. She's averaging 8 rebounds per game in ACC play, which is huge for NC State. They need their guards to rebound, and Madison Hayes, at just 6 feet tall, is rebounding the basketball. For Virginia Tech, another senior that's making the most of her last year, and that's Rose Misha. In her last 5 games, she's been unstoppable, averaging nearly a double-double, shooting with the best field goal percentage in the ACC, coming off a 15-rebound performance against Pittsburgh. I'm really curious how NC State guards Rose tonight.
And how will both teams feel coming off those wins? As you can tell, the numbers quite different, though they were both victories on the road for these two teams. NC State just led for over 3 minutes of that win on the road at Syracuse. So a very confident Virginia Tech team coming into this one, no doubt. And they've won 4 of their last 5. NC State has won 11 of their last 12 as we tip it off from Reynolds Coliseum. Zoe Brooks has been excellent for the Wolfpack, taking care of the basketball, coming up late in games, as has this player here, Madison Hayes, right off the bat.
That's why we highlighted her, folks. She's a special player having a special senior season.
Starting 5 for the Hokies, Carly Wenzel leading the team in scoring. Lonnie White has been great the last few games. Eck, Baker, and Misha, who Kelly mentioned, to force inside. That is exactly where the Hokies wanted to go first possession. Couldn't quite connect. Starting 5 for the NC State Wolfpack. You know them, you love them. Those 3 guards you've become so accustomed to seeing. Rivers, James, Brooks, Hayes, and on the inside, the freshman, Tilda Trieger, making her 8th straight start. Brooks off the fingertips of Trieger and out of bounds, but it was touched by Virginia Tech.
16 seconds on the shot clock for NC State here, and both these teams spent so much time in shoot-arounds, working on blobs based on out of bounds. Coaches want to see execution here.
James, couple of ball fakes to get herself the look she wanted. Leading scorer for the Wolfpack, averaging 17 per game.
On that play, Westmore drew up the play, but Isaiah James made that happen. He didn't really draw up Isaiah James pumping twice and making an incredible move in the lane.
There's Matilda Eck, coming off an excellent shooting performance on the road in that win at Pittsburgh. Was 4 of 7 from 3, tying a season high with those 4 3-pointers made. What kind of energy does NC State come out with in this game? It's looking good so far as Sanaya Rivers knocks home her first field goal tonight.
That's good to see for NC State for Sanaya Rivers. She was a little under the weather is what the coaches told us Thursday night, when she didn't play that well against Syracuse, but they need her to play well, and that's a good start for her.
Sanaya coming in just 11 points away from 1,000 in her career, so now 9 points away. She skies in for the rebound. NC State has had the weather of the storm really their last couple of games. They were down 10 at the half on the road at Syracuse. That was their largest deficit, and how about it? I think Isaiah James is feeling it tonight.
She is one of the most electric scorers in the country. She can score from anywhere on the floor, and you saw it in that play.
Hokies trying to get into their offense now. 10 to shoot. Wenzel does the honors.
Big shot for Virginia Tech. With NC State playing so well early offensively, you've got to score offensively and continue to put that opposite pressure on NC State.
Brooks spinning in the lane for 2.
These NC State guards are getting whatever they want, Jen. We'll see how Virginia Tech adjusts defensively, but it's really hard to guard James, Brooks, and Rivers one-on-one, and you're seeing that manifest right now with Virginia Tech.
NC State has made their last 4 from the floor. They lead it 10-4 early in the first. Baker dishes off for the open look inside for Misha.
Great play, heads-up play by Karis Baker. Shot clock winding down, attack the paint, find a teammate.
From behind the back for Brooks. Oh, they're breaking out all the tricks early in Raleigh.
These NC State guards, you just look at the talent on the floor. I would put those 3 up against anybody in the country when it comes to just pure talent.
They are flexing all the muscles early tonight. Now Rivers going behind the back, daring Virginia Tech to try to stop her on her way to the basket. They commit the foul in the process. Westmore, 12th season in charge of the Wolfpack, one of the winningest coaches in the country. In fact, number 2 overall amongst active coaches. Most wins of any active ACC coach. Mentioned the Wolfpack have won 11 of their last 12. They've won 4 in a row. Sit at 7-1 in the ACC. That is currently 3rd behind Notre Dame and Duke. Notre Dame off this weekend. Duke winning earlier today in a battle against Georgia Tech. Hokies do have 1 win against a ranked opponent earlier this season. It was a big one against Georgia Tech. Took a lot of confidence from that. 5 to shoot now. Wenzel lost it. Had her pocket picked, and now the Wolfpack off and running. Brooks, there is contact and an offensive foul. Boy, credit the defense there of Lonnie White.
NC State with great defense on the other end. Forcing that steal, Isaiah James helping off, and then Zoe Brooks going the other way. They're calling her for lowering the shoulder. I didn't see too much contact, but once Zoe Brooks lowered the shoulder, Lonnie White was able to get that call.
Does the defense kickstart the offense now for Virginia Tech? They are trying to get Misha going inside.
Misha has the agility advantage against Trieger, but Trieger's got size. She's got at least 4 inches on her. You could tell Trieger's size bothered her on that play.
Now Trieger at 6'6", the freshman of Stockholm, Sweden. It's a different look inside for this NC State team than what they've had in the past couple of years. And Westmore has been trying to get all the pieces to fit together, as has Megan Duffy in her first year at Virginia Tech. What a job she has done. Westmore, in fact, couldn't have been more complimentary when we talked to him earlier today. Former Marquette head coach, taking over the Hokies after Kenny Brooks had been there for 8 seasons. Such great success with this Virginia Tech team. Hayes, strong to the basket, and 1!
The emotion from the senior, Madison Hayes. You are seeing these NC State guards put the ball on the floor and get to the rim whenever they want. Madison Hayes, a tough finish. NC State up big early.
NC State 7 of 9 from the floor. They lead Virginia Tech 15-6. We want to take you to our Food Lion, food for thought, because Kelly, you're the one who picked up on this, the fact that the ACC has been very well represented at the Final Four here as of late.
Yes, and when I was first indicating it, I was talking about the ACC in its previous iterations, which had a lot of success. But when you look at the ACC now and you add Stanford into that mix, it's just pure domination. And you have to, because Stanford's now in this league, and they get to the Final Four very often, Jen.
So that is a current member of the ACC who has been at the Final Four every year since 2006, and the last 2 programs to do it, these 2 right here. NC State going last year, Virginia Tech the year before. What does Virginia Tech need on this end, Kelly? That sure helps their cause.
It's a great move from Misha. And we just have highlighted how well Rose Misha is playing. I think it's more on this end, Jen. It's defensively. These guards for NC State or for Virginia Tech, excuse me, they've got to be able to guard their yard. They have to guard the player that's in front of them, and that's been a struggle so far for Virginia Tech. We'll see if Coach Duffy can help with maybe sagging off a bit from help side to get a little more help on those drivers, because Virginia Tech has struggled to stay in front of the NC State guards.
That was the first 3-pointer attempted by NC State on that last possession. Everything else coming in the paint, getting to the lane. Wenzel on this end, around and out for 3. Hokies shot the ball very well from deep. They hit 13 of their 26 3-point attempts in their win at Pitt. James stepping it back.
My goodness, Isaiah James. There's step backs and then there's step backs. I mean, that's what Isaiah James did. She created so much separation with the crossover.
Misha working with her left. Trigger, the freshman, has done a nice job defensively. James. I mean, when these NC State guards play like this, you look at them and go, you could be looking at another Final Four team. 20-8, NC State on top. Timeout on the floor. The Wolfpack are flying in Reynolds.
NC State off to a very hot start here in Reynolds Coliseum. Here's another look at that Isaiah James step back. Oh my goodness, the crossover. Made sure she got her feet behind the line. Wow, Isaiah James, like I've said, she is one of the most talented scorers in the country. 9 points for her in what, less than 7 minutes of game action so far, Jen.
She averages 17, that's top 10 in the ACC. You can see why. And I'm glad we got another look at that step back because I could kind of hear the crowd reacting. We were a little bit blocked by the bodies on the floor when it happened in real time. Mackie Nelson on the floor. She's been given some good minutes off the bench for the Hokies. Eck got a good look. Misha kept it alive, but everybody else was already sprinting back for Virginia Tech, as Megan Duffy told us. Look, transition defense, we have to protect against it. But not as many bodies there for rebounding.
And it hasn't even really been transition that's been an issue for Virginia Tech right now. NC State's been able to get to the rim in the half court too.
The Wolfpack 9 of 12 from the floor to start this game. I had this NC State team on the road on Thursday night at Syracuse. It could not look or feel more different than what that game looked like for the Pack. Hayes off and running.
When NC State comes out with a sense of urgency, when Sanaya Rivers and Isaiah James are aggressive early and stay out of foul trouble, that's when NC State is at its best.
Real challenge for this Virginia Tech team now. Eck round and out.
And Madison Hayes, 3 straight double-doubles coming into this game. She's active, she's all over the floor, gets out in transition. NC State is doing whatever they want at this point in the game.
And you said it has to start on this end for Virginia Tech. Instead, it is Brooks just about walking it in to the basket. 9-0 Wolfpack run.
At this point, if you're Virginia Tech, I think you have to sprinkle in some zone. You're just struggling so much to stay in front.
Rivers smiling all the way to the basket after she took it away. There's such a wonderful atmosphere here at Reynolds Coliseum. Season tickets sold out by May. And this crowd has to be loving what they're seeing so far. Ronnie White, the Hokies need somebody to get going.
Virginia Tech settling for a lot of mid-range jumpers, struggling to get to the rim right now. And there's Sanaya Rivers in the passing lanes. NC State's done a great job of getting up and deny, being in those passing lanes, making these Virginia Tech guards very uncomfortable.
Single digits so far for Virginia Tech on the offensive end as foul is committed here. Mallory Collier into the game and will be headed to the free throw line.
Hokies foul number 4, Rose Misha.
Foul is on Misha, her first.
Third team foul. On the line, Mallory Collier.
Collier, the 6'3" center from Tennessee on the line. Well, we're looking forward to Saturday afternoon's triple header of men's hoops here on ACC Network. Florida State and Boston College start us off at 2 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Commonwealth Clash between Virginia Tech and Virginia, and then SMU hosting Stanford to cap the night. It is Saturday right here on ACCN. A couple of missed opportunities off the line for Collier and NC State. That has been one area as the illegal screen called here. But the free throw has been one area. NC State has struggled overall this season.
And that's 2 on Rose Misha. That is quite detrimental for Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech does not have a lot of depth. They like to play 6, maybe 7 players. NC State has a good amount of depth, especially in the front court. They can keep rotating pieces in. So not having Misha in there is huge for Virginia Tech. It also looks like the Hokies are going to try out some zone.
As you predicted, got to do something to throw this NC State offense off. Wolfpack on an 11-0 run. Rivers with the shot fake. A little strong. Hokies scoreless the last 4 minutes. That shot went right up into the hands of Rivers, but a foul is called.
I am not sure about this foul call. I thought Carly Wenzel initiated the contact, and then Sanaya Rivers got all ball. I do not love that call, but I do love Virginia Tech attacking the rim because they've been settling for jumpers. That's been part of their struggles offensively.
Carly Wenzel really stepping up in a much bigger role this season. You think about the departures that Virginia Tech have had since last year's team. Elizabeth Kitley, who just had her jersey retired. Georgia Amore, some really big-time names, and more. You could go on down the line, and Wenzel really having to step up and lead this Virginia Tech team this year. James drains the three, her second of the first quarter. She has 12.
Isaiah James is out here just getting in a nice little shooting workout in the first quarter. That's what it feels like, the way she's been able to score.
Already in double digits. That makes it 29 straight games dating back to last season for James. Baker has her first points of the game for Virginia Tech. Final seconds on the clock here at Reynolds. Brooks got herself into some trouble. Doesn't even get the shot off, but they had quite a few go down in this first quarter, Kelly.
These NC State guards have come to play. Isaiah James, 12 points on 7 shots in 10 minutes. The Pack are hot.
Two words that Westmore urged his team to have coming into this game, Kelly. Energy and urgency. I think we've seen that.
We have definitely seen that for NC State. I was saying this during the break, Jen, as we look at the points in the paint. NC State, 18 points in the paint, just 2 for Virginia Tech, and a lot of that is the guards getting to the rim. That is a perfect first quarter for NC State. It does not get much better than that. They shot 77% from the field. They had 1 turnover, and they held Virginia Tech to 12 points. You can't ask for much more.
29 points in the first, a season high for the Wolfpack, so excellent start for the home team. Let's see how Virginia Tech responds. There's Misha not on the floor with those 2 fouls, and they immediately turn it over. James, no slowing her down. She has 14.
When NC State is feeling good offensively and brings this type of energy, they're even scarier because they bring that energy defensively. And they're so long and talented. If they bring the energy defensively, it's going to be a problem.
That's a long 2 for Karis Baker.
Basket number 10, Karis Baker.
This Virginia Tech team has to play with a bit of a chip on their shoulder. Megan Duffy was telling us she is constantly getting on her team about understanding they've got to have this consistent effort because they know they don't have the star power of the guards, especially like a team that NC State does. So how do you counter that? They've found a way. Look at Lonnie White, the transfer from Utah. Had it taken away though. Madison Hayes said, not in my house. Back to James, who just cannot be stopped.
She won't be stopped. When she gets downhill, going to her left, her strong side, good luck. I've seen her score in so many different ways around the rim with her left hand. She puts up shots that you think have no chance of going in, and she finds a way. Isaiah James is about to be at her season average, and we've played 11 minutes of basketball. That's crazy, Jim.
She is undoubtedly leading the charge for this NC State team so far.
She saw some of those performances today. Haley Cavender at 32 for Miami. Tania Laxon, game winner, and she wanted a piece of it.
Good hands inside by Baker.
Good poise by Virginia Tech on that possession. A great pass by the young freshman, Kale Peterson, who's in right now for Misha with 2 fouls. And Karis Baker keeping Virginia Tech alive on offense.
Hokies need to find a way to stop Isaiah James on this end of the floor. James at the moment has equaled Virginia Tech's point production as a team in this game. Brooks, couple of crossovers. Watch me go to work.
Zoe Brooks not to be outdone. Isaiah James has 16 early points, but Zoe Brooks wants to get in on the action.
What should tell us today, confidence, what it's all about for her in her sophomore year. Been really playing well late last couple of games for NC State and bringing it right from the opening whistle here today.
Jen, she's been so good the last few games for NC State. Since that Cal loss, Zoe Brooks has stepped it up a notch. She has 35 assists to just 5 turnovers in the last 5 games. It's absolutely incredible. She's running the point. She looks so much more comfortable doing so.
Mackie Nelson on the free throw line makes the first for Virginia Tech. Tomorrow, the Huddle crew will reveal this season's ACC football schedule. They'll break down each team, look at key weeks and specific matchups. Coverage of this 2-hour special begins at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. The first hour also on ESPN2. I know you've already started looking ahead, breaking down football schedules, Kelly.
Oh, you know I am ready. Very interested to see some of the final touches, who gets home and away, that kind of thing. I know NC State and Virginia Tech fans are also ready to see that schedule.
James, a rare miss going left, but will have some free throws coming up as she was fouled.
Number 3, Mackenzie Nelson, her first, second on the team.
Isaiah James, a senior on this NC State team, and think about how far she's come and the fact that it has all happened right here in Raleigh, when a lot of players, maybe, especially in this day and age, might change, look for a different program, get some more minutes. She was a member of the all-freshman team her first year, but then just started 6 games as a sophomore before last year's meteoric rise to all ACC first team honors.
Jen, I remember watching NC State shoot around when they hosted the NCAA tournament here a few years ago. Isaiah James was a very young player on the team, wasn't playing much. I'm watching practice and I'm thinking, who is that? Who is that? Because she was dominating in practice. She just wasn't ready yet for the big stage, and she was behind so many great guards NC State already had. But she took her time, she stuck it out, and those numbers speak volumes to her committing to NC State committing to her development, and it can lead to something special like this.
18 now for James to lead the Wolfpack. Eck under some duress on that field goal attempt, couldn't finish it off. Rivers eyeing 1,000 career points in this game. Trieger, freshman, couldn't finish. Nelson in the game with Misha on the bench with those 2 fouls. Wells also in the game off the bench, and nobody beats James down the floor. Hokies just get lucky.
A rare miss for Isaiah James, but a really good pass from Zam Jones, another freshman for NC State. She missed a couple games there in the middle of the season with a hand injury, but she's back, and that was a good look.
It's number 3 in white for NC State. Highly touted freshman, McDonald's All-American for the Wolfpack. Wells, 5 on the shot clock for the Hokies. Nelson takes a long 3 and knocks it down. That is just her 4th made 3 of the season.
3 for 17 coming into the game. Gotta let it fly, Jen.
Gotta get hot somehow. Speaking of hot, well, James has cooled off just a tad since she couldn't be touched. Eck crossed over to her right. And the follow-up good from Baker.
Harris Baker has been everywhere for Virginia Tech offensively. 8 points for her, rebounding the ball, doing everything she can for the Hokies.
And credit Virginia Tech, clawing their way back into this game and doing it without one of their leaders on the floor, Misha Nelson. Couldn't hit back-to-back triples for her team. Cox also out there for NC State. There's Jones. Turnaround good.
What a tough shot from Zam Jones. A fadeaway. Level of difficulty high on that one for the freshman.
And she needs to see some go through the basket. Got a brace on her right hand, her shooting hand, and since coming back from that injury, she was out about a month. Just 3 of 13 from the floor before that basket. Rivers had to go off her fingertips. Virginia Tech basketball when we come back to Reynolds.
Officials, timeout on the court.
I'm Justin Walters. Coming up at halftime, myself and Nybrew have first half analysis of NC State and Virginia Tech. But tonight, Latson, ACC Player of the Year? Maybe? Ooh. I mean, maybe. We're going to talk about it. Back out to Jen and Kelly.
To halftime here in that conversation. It's pretty impressive that the ACC has the top 2 scorers in the country when it comes to Hannah Hidalgo, Tanaya Latson. How about tonight, what we've seen so far from Isaiah James in the Wolfpack?
She has been phenomenal, getting a well-deserved rest on the bench. First time that she's come out of this game. And this is what you need to see from NC State for them to get off to these hot starts. You need that aggressive play from these guards, and Westmore has gotten that.
Virginia Tech has been much more competitive. In fact, has outscored NC State by a point in the second quarter, but obviously in quite a hole after that explosive first quarter from the Wolfpack. Baker has 8 of her 10 in the second quarter so far.
And Virginia Tech hanging around. Like you said, Jen, it's really hard when you dig such a hole off the bat, especially on the road. But if they can get this to close to or right around single digits at halftime, you feel like there's a game.
Hayes. NC State has certainly cooled off from that. What was it, 77% they were shooting from the floor in the first quarter? Not sure that was sustainable. Wells trying to get 3 points back in a hurry for the Hokies. Mentioned it at the top, but Virginia Tech has won 4 in a row in this series. They've swept the last 2 seasons against the Wolfpack. That is an easy look inside for Trieger, courtesy of the pass from Rivers.
Pass from Rivers.
There's Misha on the bench, as we've talked about, double-digit scorer for this pretty balanced Hokie team. Nice move by the freshman, Layla Wells.
Basket Layla Wells.
Layla Wells going right at Sanaya Rivers. I'm very impressed with this move. The whole time I'm thinking, okay, I feel like this is a bold move by Layla Wells to go right at Sanaya Rivers, one of the better defenders in the ACC. But that was a heck of an up and under from the young freshman.
See Misha on the bench with 2 fouls. That was the second personal picked up by Sanaya Rivers on that play, as well as can't complete the 3-point play. Brooks, she nearly took herself out of her own shoes with that move. Moving so quick with all those crossovers. A lot of time was spent on the defensive end of the floor for Virginia Tech and shoot-around today. It was a tough start for them in that department in the first quarter, but they've made it at least a little more difficult for NC State here in the second.
They have. They went to zone for a few possessions. Now they're back to man. I think it's just adjusting to what NC State's trying to do. When you start to realize they've only taken 6 threes, but in that first quarter, they were thinking rim, rim, rim.
And right now, NC State and Westmore were well aware of the advantage they had inside with the 6'6" Trieger.
Church to number 2, Layla Wells.
That is a tough task for the Hokies if that pass is going to come in up high like that to Trieger.
On the line shooting 2.
Well, in Virginia Tech, of course, with Misha on the bench, you just don't have that much size in the game right now. Karis Baker at 6'2" is your biggest player trying to guard, like you said, Jen, a 6'6" Trieger.
Well, the Wolfpack have certainly left some points on the floor at the free throw line, but they get the offensive rebound. Now it goes to the Hokies.
To your point, Jen, NC State 3 for 10 from the free throw line.
Yeah, that is a statistic that has been troubling for the Wolfpack throughout the season. They came into this game shooting 67% from the line. That was next to last almost in the ACC, 16th out of 18 teams. Now in the last 4, they've been a lot better. They've won their last 4. They were shooting 83% in the last 4 wins, but tonight, not a good start on the free throw line.
These are the things that Wes Moore would tell you make him lose sleep at night. These free throws. Of course, NC State's still off to a great start offensively, but as Virginia Tech tries to creep back in this game, another 7 points for NC State would make it feel a lot more difficult for Virginia Tech.
Beautifully executed inbounds by Virginia Tech and Wenzel.
And don't look now, but the Hokies, they're getting back in this one. As I said, the goal should be, if you can get it to single digits by halftime, then you feel like you're in reach.
With the Hokies foul number 11, Matilda Hennig.
Carly Wenzel just cutting through kind of an elevator screen on the baseline out of bounds, and a great look for her. The other thing too, Jen, if you get it to single digits, you're getting Misha back. I mean, to think about that you haven't had arguably your best player on the floor during this whole stretch.
Free throw woes continue for NC State. Just keeping that door open for Megan Duffy's Hokies. And Lonnie White, by the way, also on the bench right now for Virginia Tech with 2 fouls. No, she's come back in, but she had gone to the bench a few moments ago. So that has certainly been part of the consideration for Coach Duffy in terms of who she can have out on the floor. Wenzel, contested 3 with Hayes in front of her. Battle for the rebound. Hayes managed to keep it in. What an effort. James trying to make something of it, speeds down the floor, misses the layup. At one point it was 16-0 fast break points in favor of NC State. They couldn't pick them up that last possession. Now Isaiah James says, let's slow it down. I'm not sure Zoe Brooks has slow in her gears though.
And Madison Hayes, this is just one of the many things that she brings for NC State. What a save, running into her own fans. We talked with Wes Moore. He wants to see a few of his players bring a little bit more of that competitive fire, that dog mentality is the word he used. And he said the player that really does that the most for him is Madison Hayes.
Yeah, I think that was a perfect example right there. I mean, look at the advantage her team has. It's the second quarter, and she is flying out of bounds to try to keep a ball in play for her team. Under a minute to play in the first half from Reynolds Coliseum. Lacey Steele on the floor for the Wolfpack. Isaiah James leading the way with 18 points, and Madison Hayes doing her part on both ends of the floor.
And that's Madison Hayes' versatility. Right now in this lineup for NC State, she's playing the 4. She can also play a little back to the basket. She can do so many things for you.
Lead back to 15 for NC State. Led by as many as 19. White. Shot clock is off. We talked about how these two teams might feel pretty different coming in, both coming off wins on the road, but NC State barely led in their game at Syracuse until the final few minutes. Virginia Tech won easily at Pitt. Brooks does get the 3 off the front of the rim, but I think that NC State probably feeling pretty good about this first half. Virginia Tech with an opportunity on the road against a ranked team, but NC State feeling fine at Reynolds as we get you to Justin and Ivory in the studio.
Thanks, Jen. Welcome into the ACC Network Halftime Report alongside UNC legend Ivory Latta. I'm Justin Walters. It appears NC State may have listened to you, Ivory. All season long, we've been asking them to start off fast. This may have been their best first quarter all year.
By far the best first quarter of all year. Just the way they play with intensity, with a lot of energy, but it comes with Isaiah James. I mean, she is out here cooking, barbecue chicken cooking. I mean, no matter who's on her, it's going to be a tough night for you. It's just she's getting all the shots. Look at the footwork right there. I mean, great footwork. She's catching and shooting. I mean, she's reading the defense. She is loving that. Oh my goodness, with the hesitation between the legs. Oh my God. Come here. Oh, all right. I mean, goodness gracious. She's in her groove right now, and it's good to finally see her come out of the shell that we know the player that she can be. But this whole team is playing with great energy.
And one of those other players, Madison Hayes.
Let's go. I would love to play with a player like Madison Hayes because, you know, she's going to set you some screens. The way she did, diving after the ball. I mean, just getting those rebounds, but also she's scoring. She's playing great defense. She's giving you everything she has. And to have a teammate like that, I mean, it got to be a great feeling.
Still another half to play out in Raleigh. Isaiah James, good luck trying to slow it down. The trifecta, 18 points, tied for the most points she's had in a half this season. NC State, oh, you can't guard me. Got the 3 up in the face. They up 44-29.
Welcome back to Reynolds Coliseum. NC State leading Virginia Tech 44-29 at the half. Jen Hildreth and Kelly Gramlich here courtside in Reynolds Coliseum. Kelly, have you seen what you needed to see so far from this NC State team?
Yeah, this was the quick start that we wanted to see from NC State with their guards being aggressive, Isaiah James doing her thing. I thought Sanaya Rivers was also much better in the first half. When they play this way to start a game, this is what's going to happen for NC State.
You could see Sanaya Rivers get to 1,000 points in her career. That's something to watch for the second half. And what is Isaiah James going to do after the first 20 minutes she played?
It would be tough to match the first 20 minutes for Isaiah James. 18 points, 7 of 13 from the field. She had 4 rebounds, was active on defense, was getting out in transition, pushing the pace, getting to her left, to her strong side, whatever she wanted. That step back 3 really got her going early in the game. She's already surpassed her season average, Jen, in this first half.
And one thing to note for Virginia Tech, that they actually did outscore NC State in that second quarter, so they're starting to put some things together. NC State, though, shooting 63% still from the floor. That defensive effort, I'm sure, was something that was covered at halftime by Megan Duffy for Virginia Tech.
Well, and Virginia Tech adjusted. Like you said, Jen, the second quarter was a lot better. They were able to be better on the ball, keep NC State's guards out of the paint a bit more. Now, can they keep that up, right? Because NC State having a break, can they get the momentum back? That's still my biggest question. If Virginia Tech is able to be better against these NC State guards, stay in front of them, keep them out of the paint, they're going to have a chance. If they can't do that, NC State's going to keep doing what they want.
Wolfpack unbeaten at home so far this season, 11-0 overall, 4-0 in the ACC. Virginia Tech, though, has been very good on the road this year, 4-1 away from home in conference play. Rose Misha back out there to start the second half for Virginia Tech. She has 2 fouls, as does Lonnie White, in terms of the Virginia Tech starters in some foul trouble. Trieger and Rivers both also with 2 for NC State. There is Tilda Trieger. Brooks. Isaiah James had the hot hand for the Wolfpack in the first half, finds Brooks on the drive, gets her own rebound. No rushing it, instead sets up Trieger. What looked like should have been an automatic too.
Well, the Virginia Tech coaches are unhappy because I'm not sure that Zoe Brooks shot hit the rim, but the shot clock reset anyway.
Matilda Eck in search of some much needed points, and Misha just picked up her third. That is got to be so frustrating both for her and for Virginia Tech.
For those Virginia Tech coaches, that is just incredibly frustrating. And of course for Rose herself to pick up such a ticky-tack foul, literally 94 feet from NC State's basket. That is a brutal turn of events for the Hokies.
Yeah, just seconds into this third quarter, she goes back to the bench. Hayes to the basket. Will go to the line for one more.
And you can already see on that possession, compared to the previous possession, the impact of not having Rose Misha's presence on the floor. And NC State, of course, give them credit running that pick and roll to perfection.
And those two players, Rose Mishaw, who you see there on the bench, Madison Hayes now at the free throw line for NC State, really those X-factor type players in terms of the energy, the emotion, what they can bring. I mean, Misha is one of the most positive people I think I've ever talked about. And to think about what she went through last year, she transferred to Virginia Tech, and at one point last season, she was hardly playing, getting off the bench, but really had her confidence built up by Megan Duffy, knew she was going to need her this season, with all the changes for the Hokies, and so I know that hurts her a lot to be back on the bench.
And it hurts Virginia Tech. They absolutely need her on the floor, but such a credit to Rose Mishaw. From last year to this year, her numbers and just her presence on the floor. Coach Duffy and her staff has done a great job, like you said, Jen, building her back up into a very productive player for Virginia Tech.
Lonnie White at the free throw line. Hokies would love to take advantage, get some points here from the line. They're third in the ACC in terms of free throw percentage. Zoe Brooks committed the foul, her second on the play. Rivers, boy, she can't have that much space. An inch is all it takes, and Rivers is off to the basket.
And that's just a quick rub screen, which gives Sanaya Rivers the choice of which way to go. And like you said, Jen, the second that Sanaya Rivers has an inch on you, she's at the rim. She has that quick of a first step. She's that athletic.
Tough drive and good finish from Carly Wenzel.
Carly Wenzel.
Rivers, by the way, 7 points in the game, 4 away from 1,000 for her career. That 1,000 mark has been hovering over Sanaya. Last couple of games, she's been in single digits. Oh, what a pass! Up and over the head from Isaiah James.
The no look from Zaza, you did not know that was coming. Look, Tilda Trieger didn't even know it was coming, but she did catch it and put it in.
Carly Wenzel.
Wenzel again, answering for the Hokies. James. You want to know what confidence looks like right now? Just watch number 10 in white.
And see, that's the thing. That is what you want to do to Isaiah James. You want to run her off the three-point line, make her take mid-range. And that's what Virginia Tech did, and she still knocks it down.
20 points for James to go along with 4 assists. Back door open for Lonnie White.
Lonnie White.
Virginia Tech is scoring. They're finding ways to get going on offense. It's all going to come down to the defensive end. Can they get enough stops and be able to keep these NC State guards out of the lane?
Trieger to Rivers. Pulls up. Yes!
Sanaya Rivers loves a mid-range. She passed up a good look at 3, took a couple dribbles. That's old school to go from a 3 to a mid-range, but that's her game. That's what she loves.
All right, talk to me, Kel. As players, do they all know where Sanaya is? Do they know her next basket is 1,000? And are they going to try to find her?
I don't think, at this point in the game, I don't think anyone's been able to keep track of that. I'm not sure Sanaya Rivers knows. She probably thinks, oh, I have somewhere around 10 points. I'm not really sure. But definitely her teammates are not aware. I don't think so.
I didn't think so, unless they were getting messages from the bench, maybe. But
there could be a mathematician on the team that is keeping track of this. I'm not sure.
James wasn't sure which bag of tricks she was going to pull from there. Wound up losing it on the way to the basket. Come on, I was giving the bench some credit that they were going to be in tune with that type of thing. Brooks is patient. Manages to draw the foul from the freshman, Kale Peterson.
Number 3, Mackenzie Nelson. Nelson's first, third team foul.
So free throws an issue for the Wolfpack in the first half. Really the only issue I think you could find much complaint with if you're a Wolfpack fan. They were 4 of 12 from the line in the first half. And Brooks is coming off a game. She had 19 points at Syracuse on Thursday, where she went 9 for 10 from the line. This will be her first free throw attempts. Brooks good on her first. She has 9. I'll tell you about our next gymnastics meet here on ACCN and the ESPN app. Guess what? It's going to be right here in Reynolds Coliseum next Sunday afternoon. Number 7 Cal coming to town against number 22 NC State. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific next Sunday. think they get some good crowds in here for volleyball too?
NC State fans, they do a great job of supporting women's athletics. So I'm sure there will be some good fans and good attendance for gymnastics in this building.
Misha has just come back into the game. The freshman, Lorena Awu, number 1 for NC State, was making her work on both ends of the floor. And Misha did indeed just pick up foul number 4.
Remiah White now on the court for the Hokies.
And what is this conversation? Is this Megan Duffy saying, look, I'm gonna try. I want to keep you on the floor, but you can't right now.
Knowing Megan Duffy, it was a quick point of, look, X, Y, and Z, this is what happened there. You can't do that. But she's not going to harbor on it. She's not going to say something that's going to kill Misha's confidence. But obviously, everyone in the building, and of course everyone on Virginia Tech staff, understands the issue that it's presented for Virginia Tech to not have Misha, frankly, for most of this game, Jen, with that foul trouble.
Yeah. Remiah White, number 22, out on the floor now, along with Nelson off the bench for Virginia Tech. As Brooks has 12.
And this is something that Virginia Tech will get corrected in the coming seasons under Coach Duffy. They just don't have the depth right now. And for Coach Duffy, when you inherit a squad with 5 or 6 players, then you've got to go to the portal, you bring in a few freshmen. It's so hard in your first year to truly build the depth that you need to compete in the ACC.
James making it look easy off the assist from Brooks.
Isaiah James is putting on a show in Reynolds this evening.
Her nickname from Westmore, Kelly, was the show. How about this?
She truly is. This play, no look, never even made eye contact with Trieger. Trieger was as shocked as anybody, but she made the bucket.
Well, if you're like my friend Kelly Graham, like here, this is one of your favorite topics of conversation. Kelly, let's talk bracketology, shall we?
And I thought you were going to say favorite times of year, but trick question, I talk bracketology all year long.
That's true.
So let's talk about NC State's resume. They're 24th in the net, 3 quad 1 wins, 2 good quality wins, Ole Miss and Louisville. And they have 4 losses, but they have 0 bad losses. All their losses have come to really good teams, top 10 teams of South Carolina. They lost to TCU, they lost to LSU, and they lost at Cal. So no shame in that. They've dropped to the first 5 seed. Now, Alabama, who jumped them and was the last 4 seed per ESPN bracketologist Charlie Cream, they lost to Vanderbilt today. So with a win and a convincing win today, I could very much see NC State jumping back into that top 4 seed projection as of now.
And obviously you saw where Virginia Tech stood as well. Precarious position according to Charlie at the moment. Last 4 in, so this one doesn't necessarily hurt them much, although it certainly had the potential to help them an awful lot. Rivers is fouled by Wenzel on her way to the basket. So Sinai Rivers picking up the foul and got another quick timeout here on the floor. The largest lead of the game for the Wolfpack. Carly Wenzel has had a knack for stepping up against ranked opponents this season. She once again leads her team tonight with 10 points, but is on the bench at the moment with just under 4 to go in the third.
Wenzel's had a really good season, going from averaging around 4 points per game to 14 this year, and she has shown up in the big moments. Played well in that Duke game. You and I had that one. Played great in the win over Georgia Tech, which is Virginia Tech's best win to date. And she's played well, came out of the game, kind of got hit by Sinai Rivers, so we'll see if she comes back in.
That was her 3rd foul, and now, Kelly, I bet they're aware, and if they're not, we'll make sure you are. Rivers makes this, it's 1,000 career points. There it is! The bench is celebrating. They know she's got a big smile now.
So during that timeout, someone definitely said it. I don't know if everyone was aware earlier in the 3rd quarter, but during the timeout, oh yeah, people were made aware, and so congratulations to Sinai Rivers.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Joins Isaiah James is another 1,000-point scorer on this NC State team. Madison Hayes likely will reach that milestone later this season. That's now 3 fouls on Lonnie White. The fouls just continue to pile up. 3 on White, three on Wenzel. Offensive foul now is the call.
Wolfpack foul charge to number 1, Reynolds.
Moving screen.
Wu.
Yeah, on a Wu, the young freshman for NC State. And that's one of the things for a young post player that's the hardest to figure out as a freshman. This sounds basic, how to set a screen, but it's how to set a screen effectively, where you're not moving and so you don't get called for the foul, but you're still setting the screen where your teammate can use you. It's an art, if you will, Jen, that a lot of young post players have to figure out.
Sure, and when you're 6'5", you're not going to be able to hide from anybody either. It's like another quick foul on this end. Wu really came off the bench and gave some great minutes for NC State. They needed it on the road at Syracuse. She had 6 points in 16 minutes played. A couple quick fouls here.
Very minimal contact, but they call that on a Wu. And I know Wes Moore's talked about how he's had to figure out his post players, right? He's got so many young players. They thought they were going to have Caitlin Weimer, the transfer, but she's out due to injury, so now they're playing all these young pieces. But I think a Wu and Tilda Trieger going forward, having that group, and you can almost play Trieger maybe a bit more outside and not at the 5. I think they have a good bunch going forward for NC State in the front court.
By the way, another sign that it may just not be Virginia Tech's night. Matilda Eck missed one free throw in the first 19 games of this season. She just went 0 for 2 from the free throw line.
96% coming into the game. And that also just speaks to Virginia Tech's shooting woes. They were going to have to make some threes to win in this building. They're 1 for 10 on the night.
Yeah, coming off a game where they made 13 of 26 on the road in that victory at Pitt. Knew the road would be steeper coming here to Raleigh. NC State, one of 6 ranked teams in the ACC right now, playing well, winners of 11 of their last 12, 4 in a row. Rivers with the pull-up, now has 13.
Sanaya loves that mid-range going to her left. This may be counterintuitive, but as a shooter, I always preferred to shoot going to my left. It's just easier to get the ball up to your shooting pocket, and Sanaya Rivers obviously loves to do that as well.
Wenzel getting her own rebound, got another look at it. I mean, Sanaya Rivers, Isaiah James are running down the floor, big smiles on their faces at times in this game. They've had a lot to love. Oh, she wanted to set up the freshman Wu. That time did Rivers. And this is a team that plays loose. Woo-hoo! Sanaya Rivers took matters into her own hands there defensively.
Sanaya Rivers is having so much fun on the floor today. That was a swat, and then she hit the ball off of Mackenzie Nelson to get the ball back for NC State. No one smiles as much on the floor when she's playing well as Sanaya Rivers.
This team dances maybe more than just about any other team I've seen in warm-ups. That is just who they are, and Zoe Brooks told us that earlier. So, you know, sometimes we come off as a little bit lackadaisical, but maybe like they're not that into it. She said that's just who we are as our personalities. They have to play to who their personalities are. And when they're loose and having fun, they're at their best. A wide open look for James, not gonna miss that.
She did it again. Another step back, she makes the defender fall. Knocks it down. Jen, it's really disrespectful when you can make that defender fall, look at him for a second, and then hit the 3.
Under a minute to go in the third. NC State extending its lead here in this quarter. Brooks. Hayes with the rebound. What is Isaiah James going to pull out next? Going with her left, Baker. A credit one for Virginia Tech defense right there. Isaiah James has been nearly unstoppable since the pregame festivities. This is what they do.
All pregame. There's no team that dances more than this team. I'm fairly confident that they dance the most of any team in Division I women's college basketball. They've got a problem, and I mean it in a good way. And we saw West doing what Ivory and I called the West Wave at the Final Four last year, so he gets in on it.
2 on the shot clock for Rivers. Wells just manages to come away with it for Virginia Tech. Wenzel got the 3.
Big bucket from Carly Wenzel. Great job setting her feet on that pass and knocking it down in transition.
15 in the game for Carly Wenzel, 9 of those in the third quarter, trying to give Virginia Tech a bit of hope, but it has been all NC State this afternoon. Final say of the third quarter might go to Wenzel, but it is the Wolfpack in the lead as we get ready for the fourth. Back at Reynolds Coliseum, the statue of Kay Yao outside, and a great opportunity for us to give you a little preview of the Play for Kay game that will be happening here February 3rd, 7 Eastern on ESPN2. My goodness, what a matchup that will be, Kelly, between NC State and Duke.
So excited for that game. Very impressed with Duke's win at Georgia Tech today. The defense that Duke turned on in that last 5 minutes with the Lucia Kanawa was special. These games between NC State and Duke are always good. They've split the last 8 meetings. I cannot wait for that and for the Play for K and just how NC State does it, honoring all the survivors here in this gym. It's going to be a special night.
Here on Kay Yao Court, it is always a little extra special for those Play for K games. And that begins what will be a big month of February. Look at that schedule for the Wolfpack. I mean, Kelly, I haven't had a chance to go back and compare that to everybody else, but that has got to be amongst the toughest in the ACC.
By far, one of the most difficult in February. You look at all the ranked teams, you look at those road games, the ranked teams plus Florida State, who's playing really good basketball and might be ranked soon enough with the way they're playing. As Wes Moore, you know, he loves to talk to us and kind of make sure we don't get too high on his team. He says, guys, look at our February. All right, we've got a real challenge coming up, and we'll learn a lot about NC State in February.
Yeah, we will. Nice drive there by Wenzel. Really came alive for her team in the third quarter. She has 17 points in the game. Jones back on the floor for NC State. Westmore, in fact, going to a lot of players off his bench. Quigley, Cox, Collier all out there, along with Jones and Rivers. Baker finds the 3.
Both Karis Baker and Carly Wenzel have played really well tonight. They've shown, and they've been a really good spark for Virginia Tech. Obviously, some of the defensive issues have been part of it. Rose Mishaw's foul trouble's been huge. And just NC State's been hot, and NC State is very tough to beat in this building. But I've been impressed with the showings from Wenzel and Baker.
Rivers adds a couple more to her stat line. 15 in the game for Sanaya.
She is locked in from the mid-range this evening. With Sanaya Rivers' size and athleticism at 6'1", and her length, with the way she elevates to shoot the mid-range, there are very few people in the country that can guard her in that situation. She elevates, her release is so high, Jen, it's incredibly difficult to guard.
The NC State offense that has come out and put up 29 points in the first quarter, 24 in the third quarter tonight against that stingy Duke defense. Man, that's going to be
fun to
quite
watch.
A matchup. Play for K February 3rd here on Monday. Wolfpack do have a road game in between on the road at Wake.
And with the new format in the ACC when it comes to scheduling, Duke and NC State only play once in the regular season. So that game will be massive for top 4 seed implications, for double bye in the ACC tournament. Bragging rights, obviously, because these schools are only a few miles apart, but for so many reasons, that's a massive matchup.
Yeah, and those two teams sitting just behind Notre Dame in the ACC standings at the moment. Duke picking up its 8th conference win earlier today. That game you mentioned at Georgia Tech, and NC State on the way to what would be their 8th conference win if they hang on here against the Hokies. Are you surprised at all that so many players off the bench are in for NC State, or does this feel like about the right time?
When you look at the lead for NC State, I understand Wes Moore wanting to get some more players involved, getting them some experience in ACC play, and just resting some of your starters. A lot of teams don't have that luxury of having a Zam Jones. Zam Jones just hit that 3 And she and Westmore are going back and forth. Westmore giving her the steak face. What is happening in Reynolds in this evening, Jen?
I'll tell you what, this NC State team came in ready to put on a show, and they have. From the starters to the bench, to Sanaya Rivers' 1,000 points, to Isaiah James going off just after she was named to the Wooden mid-season list, one of 4 ACC players. And it's been everybody. Madison Hayes has had her moments. Zoe Brooks. Zoe Brooks leading the team in rebounding. Well, no call on that play. That gives a wide open shot from close range for Rivers.
And that was a great pass from Zam Jones. She got down to the wing where she needed to be and made a good entry pass. For NC State to achieve what they want to achieve and make a deep run in March, I think you're going to need to see more Zam Jones as she's coming back from the injury. It's good for her to get minutes right now for NC State.
Baker, 15 in the game now for Karis Baker, sophomore out of West Hartford, Connecticut. Jones all the way to the rim.
She's a special player, 5-star recruit, number 17 player in this class, McDonald's All-American. And she just plays behind other McDonald's All-Americans. And that's why we haven't seen as much, plus the injury. But Jen, I think she's going to be special in Raleigh.
Yeah, I mean, she had 18 points earlier this season at Louisville. That was before the injury. So good to see her starting to get back in a group. Timeout on the floor, under 5 to go in Reynolds. Thursday at 10 Eastern, after our women's basketball doubleheader here in ACCN, the Nothing But Net crew has you covered to break down the night. They'll look ahead at the best matchups and schedule for the weekend. You know they've got you covered all season long right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Kelly, I imagine you and the crew might be talking about some of these Wooden Award midseason candidates, 4 of them, as I just mentioned, from the ACC.
4 of the very best players in the country all play in the ACC, of course. And I heard Ivory Latta and Justin Walters talking about that ACC Player of the Year discussion. I think there's a discussion, sure, but I also think Hannah Hidalgo is the National Player of the Year, so that would most likely make her the ACC Player of the Year. But Tanaya Latson is also having an incredible season. That shot she hit today in Chapel Hill was the level of difficulty on that shot. And then for it to be at the buzzer to win the game, to beat a very good UNC team, that was crazy to watch. We watched it with Wes Moore at the end of shoot-around, actually.
Yeah, and about 4 or 5 of the Wolfpack players, we were all over here watching it together. And it'll be interesting to see, too, how North Carolina bounces back, because they've got to travel across the country for a ranked matchup at Cal on Thursday. You guys are going to be staying up late there, Nothing But Net crew. I'm curious. I'm curious how you all stay caffeinated. Is it different for everybody in studio, or Ivory, I assume, needs nothing?
Ivory doesn't need caffeine. Ivory is born the way that she is. I'm going to need some caffeine. Coach will probably be pounding the tea.
Tea?
He's a big tea drinker.
Okay.
Justin, I think he's good to go. I think he's kind of like Ivory. He's just ready to, he's made for this moment. But that UNC Cal game, that's probably the best game of Thursday night. I'm very interested in that. And Jen, one overall thing I'm interested in the ACC, because NC State was not able to do this. Which teams can go out west and go 2-0?
Yeah.
NC State went out there, went 1-1. They lost to a very good Cal team. The travel, 2 road games against 2 good teams. Which teams can go out there and go undefeated? I'm curious to see who can do it.
Yeah, that's a great point. So get ready to stay up late with our Nothing But Net crew on Thursday. Some of the NC State reserves making the most of their time on the floor. That is, Collier now has 4 in the game. Nary a starter to be found on the floor for the Wolfpack at the moment, and why not? They've earned it at this point. An impressive performance on their home floor. Not Virginia Tech's night. Certainly do not count this Hokie team out. They're 5-3 in the conference right now. They've been very good on the road. And there is no rest for the weary, as they will be welcoming in the Irish in their next game. Collier, excellent work to come away with the ball, got the shot off.
And for Virginia Tech, when they watch this film, you're going to see a similar set of guards from a talent perspective when you play Notre Dame. So if you're Virginia Tech, maybe we use some more zone against a team like Notre Dame, just because you're about to see some guards that are just like these that can get to the rim. See if you can limit them more by not playing zone the whole game or anything like that, but just mixing it in when needed. Especially to keep Misha out of foul trouble. That's the other thing.
Crowd still into it here at Reynolds. And football fans, get ready because the Huddle crew will reveal this season's ACC football schedule. That is tomorrow. We'll be breaking down every team, looking at big matchups you'll want to keep an eye on. It's a 2-hour special, starting at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. First hour also on ESPN2. Well, I asked Kelly at halftime if you had seen what you wanted to see from an NC State perspective in this game. When you see this Wolfpack team play the way they did tonight, and a little icing on the cake from Collier, by the way, how much confidence do you have that this team can really make a deep run?
If NC State plays like this, they come out with this energy and aggression, they play through Sanaya Rivers and Isaiah James, and they get a good bit of production from their front court like they did tonight, NC State can make some serious noise. Whether it's in the ACC tournament, I'm so interested to see NC State play Notre Dame, but also in the NCAA tournament. This is a team that last year started the year unranked and made the Final Four. They have the experience. James, Rivers, Brooks, they know Madison Hayes, they know what it takes to make a deep run in March. And when they play like this, when they're locked in, as we've said, Jen, and they come out firing, they are so difficult to stop.
Kale Peterson is given some good minutes off the bench for Megan Duffy this season. Those are her first points of this game. Freshman out of Waupun, Wisconsin. Steal. Collier there again, the sophomore. Got some extended minutes here with this big Wolfpack lead in the fourth. Wolfpack keeping themselves in the conversation for the race for a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. Just dropped off that 4 line. Let's see if Charlie Cream puts them back up there after picking up some more wins.
And Jen, that is huge for a team like NC State when we know how special this home court is. If they're able to host in the NCAA tournament, they are very difficult to beat in this building.
Wolfpack have won 16 in a row on their home floor. They're 11-0 this season, 4-0 in conference play coming into this one tonight. Those streaks look to be extended. And as this player right here, Zam Jones, starting to find her way again. Another impressive guard you'll have to be aware of when you take on the Wolfpack. Overall, exactly the kind of night NC State was looking for. Virginia Tech had won 4 in a row in the series. That is no more, as the Wolfpack have now won 12 of their last 13 this season. 5 in a row. They improved to 8-1 in conference play.
What a night for NC State. Just everything clicking for them offensively. Isaiah James, 25 points. So efficient from the floor. Also had 4 assists. You had production from Sanaya Rivers. She was great. A good bounce back game for her. Madison Hayes did her thing. Zoe Brooks, the big 4 for NC State, got it done in front of this raucous crowd here in Reynolds.
And so just a few days after
and they're dancing, of course.
The dancing continues. Their biggest halftime deficit in conference play on Thursday. They came back to win on Thursday night on the road at Syracuse. Back here at home looking nearly untouchable. The Wolfpack victorious today, 85-57, the final score from Reynolds Coliseum. So the Wolfpack victorious, 16-4 overall, 8-1 in conference play. For Kelly Gramlich and our entire ACC Network crew, thanks so much for hanging out with us here in Raleigh. I'm Jen Hildreth. Time now to get you back to the studio with Justin Walters and Ivory Latta.
Welcome into the ACC Network studios alongside Ivory Latta, the UNC great. I'm Justin Walters. Let's shift gears now to Virginia Tech and NC State, who has been playing extremely well. Winners of 11 of their last 12 coming into this matchup. Get ready for the Zia James show because she was in her bag.
Oh my God, see the footwork? That was a great shot. Great shot.
Mid-first quarter in transition, James. Look at this move.
Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. Come back here. Hey! Yes,
Back up by 10. Late first quarter, NC State now up by 16. More James hits another three. She had 18 in the first half. NC State rolling. Early third quarter, Pack up by 17. James can also pass. Look at this dish.
Oh man, that was a great pass by Zia James, also known as Zaza.
Zaza, Mom Duke said, hey, you can call her Zaza. It's all good. Look at this move. Zia just step back jack. Oh, don't do it to him. Don't do it to him. Take a seat, ladies and gentlemen. I can do whatever I want.
Hey,
and then they got the moves. Madison, Sanaya. Yeah. 85-57 the final score. NC State rolling. Here's a look at all the final stats. Zia finishes with 25. Sanaya Rivers had 17. Zoe Brooks with 12. After the victory, Zia James caught up with our Kelly Gramlich and Jen Hildreth.
You guys have some really young posts,
Yes.
and with Tilda and Awu, and both of them are coming along, and that's
Yes.
something you want to be able to get them easy looks and build that up, right?
Yeah, so just, get in the games now before March so they can get comfortable. So once we get to March, they should be ready.
And we were talking about how much fun it was watching you on the floor. But look,
Yes.
the fun starts for this team in pregame. We were talking about how much you guys dance. Is that
Yes.
just kind of part of who you are?
Yes, this is a part of our environment. We're a loving family over here. We love to sing, we love to dance, just be around each other all the time.
And what's your name? What's your group name?
The Packettes.
What, do we need to just dance off the air a
You
little
already
bit?
know.
Come
Let's
on.
go.
Come on. Wolfpack
ACC.
winners. Zia James, thanks for hanging with us.
Thank you.
The vibes are amazing for the Wolfpack, and we saw the Packettes last year in Cleveland. Like, come on now.
on, Justin.
They were crushing it at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, including the Westmore dance that you and Kelly were killing it with. So let's start off with Zia James, as well as the team collectively. We spoke here a few days ago on Thursday, you, Kelly, and Coach, and you said, when is NC State going to start off hot? First quarter, a season high, 29 points.
They started off the way that we know this team can start. They had great energy. Okay, we're going to go back. They was dancing before the game. That's good energy. They brought that energy to the game. They started off great on the offensive end. Defensively wise, they was in the passing lanes. They was just swarming Virginia Tech. They was able to get those turnovers. And when NC State get turnovers, that right there fueled their offense. They are one of the best teams in the ACC to get out and transition offense. And Zia James, oh my goodness, this young lady is exceptional. Just how she plays, it is. Honestly and truthfully, it's extremely hard to guard a left-handed player because you never know what they're going to do. Her pull back, step back behind the three, and she's shooting the ball well. She's extremely hard to guard. I mean, the footwork right here.
Some of these moves were prolific.
It really was, and you could tell the hard work that she's put in, including the step back and just the hesitation. Even this, oh my goodness. And she's taking her time. And the thing is, Justin, it's extremely hard as a player when you make those type of moves to stay on balance to make the shot. And all of her shots were on balance. And she's passing the ball like that. She's having a good time. She's in her rhythm. She's in her groove. Her teammates also noticed, and they continue to give her the ball. As we was watching, we kept saying, heat check, okay, heat check. And she kept on hitting.
And you mentioned not only is she playing extremely well, but so has Madison Hayes.
Yes.
She's been the X factor. You believe that she can be the player that propels them to the next level.
Absolutely. She is definitely the X factor on this team. She does the little things that make a big difference in a game. Deflections, rebound. She's the player that's going to dive out of bounds just to try to get that extra possession. She is the undersized guard or undersized forward on the team that's going to give you her heart. She's going to go out there and play with passion. And she just loved to see when her teammates get the victory. And I would love to play with a player like that.
Amazing victory for NC State, winners now of 12 of their last 13.